Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WodCAST podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift. I'm here in the Bingo Bus. That's right. If you don't know what the Bingo Bus is, it's a bus that I bought, 5 years ago. I did a TV show called The Bingo Show, and we made a pilot, and it didn't get picked up, and now I'm sitting with this hunk of junk in my driveway. It's a beautiful bus. I shouldn't call it a hunk of junk. We spent a lot of money on it. Fans gave us money for it. And I am so appreciative of that. I wish that I had made a TV show. I wish it got picked up. And then I'd be famous now and I wouldn't have to do this show. Just kidding. I hate looking at myself. If you want to look at me, go to YouTube and you can look at me right now. That's where I do this now. I do the show on YouTube. I'm noticing a wrinkle right here and a big dark circle right here on my face. And that's, I had Bell's palsy, also a bunch of years ago. I also just woke up to do this show. So, not to do this show, but to do the intro and do the ads. That's what happens. I do the intro and the ads separately than the show because I try to have like all my power and creativity and listening skills, which I'm not very good at. I try to have that all ready for the episode. I also wonder if anybody listens. Does anybody listen to the intro, or do you fast forward to the interview? Because I got to be honest, there's a podcast I used to listen to, Mark Maron's podcast, where I would just fast forward straight past Mark talking and just want to hear the guest. But I feel like you go to my episode, my interview, I'm still talking all the time because I don't know how to shut the fuck up. Let's talk. Let's talk about this week. I got a complaint. Somebody said that I don't do, I will talk about being a Patreon. I will talk about how you sponsor the show, and then I don't give out any Myopuxes or leopard claws. And I'm going to tell you why that's happened in the last few weeks. If you look at our Patreon, not many of you donate to the show. Tons of people listen to this show. We get, and this is no lie, I don't have to exaggerate, we're getting at least 20,000 listens per show. 20,000. Not bad. Puts us sometimes in the top 20 podcasts in the country. World of fitness. Okay? I'm bragging. Here's the problem. Patreon, none of you value it. Nobody gives us money. And I give you a Myopux and a leopard claw. You're like, what's a leopard claw? Okay. This shit's like $450 total for this and this. And it's great stuff. I recommend it to everybody. I give them to everybody. I use them on people. I'm like, look, you're injured. This is a way to stop this. Myopux Leopard Claw. You donate to the show, $5 a month. You get put in a drawing to get one. Well, pretty much everybody that's... are you getting what I'm saying? Here's the deal. We're trying to make our Patreon more appealing. So if you like those like 30, 40, 50 episodes I do with Hunter and Bobby, we're going to do those often, like once a month. And they're only going to be available on Patreon. You're going to have to go on Patreon to get them. So the people that give to Patreon get that episode. And I like to think that's a really fun, really interesting episode. And Bobby and Hunter, do their thing on there, which is great. And that's... it's awesome. Anyway, so go to patreon.com/WodCast or WodCastPodcast.com/Patreon. Donate, and there's a good chance you're going to get one of these or these. And don't be one of these dicks. Don't donate and then stop after a month. If you got a nice gift like this and we give you an episode every week, that's like $1 an episode. It is with the Patreon. It's 5 episodes a month. That comes out to $1 an episode. And these are hard times, people. But a lot of you are still killing it. Guys like me, gig workers. That's what they call me, a gig worker. You know how hard it is trying to get PPP or any of these loans as a stand-up comedian? Yeah, it doesn't happen. They're like, really? Okay. Even if you show them your 1099s, they're like, well, wait, so you worked in 50 different places? Yeah, every week I'm in a different place. Okay, well, we can we can give you unemployment based on 1 week. It's just it's a ridiculous thing that's going on. It's very difficult. If anybody out there knows how to help with it, I'll take any advice, because I didn't think it was going to last this long, and now I am being forced to go back to do stand-up comedy at like quarter capacity at clubs where, to be honest, I don't feel good doing it, because I just worry that I'm like putting myself in danger, that I can then come home and put my family in danger. If I lived alone, I wouldn't give a shit. But the fact that I've got 2 little kids and a wife, I don't want to hurt them or make them sick. Our friend Dr. Drew, who's been a guest on the show, has come down with COVID. He's been home. Kevin Ryder from Kevin and Bean, if you've ever heard me on that show, Kevin has it. 2 of my high school friends have it. It's no joke, people. Like these people go, I don't know anybody who has it. I do. I know many people that have it. And I know people that are really, really sick from it. So stop your bullshit. Stop the people that say that it's like just a flu. Talk to my friends who've lost their parents and tell them that. It's just, I'm so sick of that. I'm not saying we need to be locked down or we need to, you need to live in fear. I'm just saying, stop saying the bullshit and be productive. Don't be just a bench warmer sitting on the side throwing comments in. Fucking do something about it. Like wear your mask and don't talk shit about vaccinations or things that can help this, things that are productive. Okay, I probably just lost half our listenership. Oh, well. What do I want to talk about? I have sponsors. One of the sponsors I think is really cool. You're never going to believe this when I tell you this. Okay. Right here. I just held that up, and you're like, what's Eddie doing? Is he boozing it up? No, I'm not. In fact, I don't drink it like that either. This is Ritual Zero Proof. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Ritual Zero Proof. What is Ritual Zero Proof? It's basically tequila. But guess what? It's zero proof. It has no alcohol in it. You're like, well, why would you want to drink tequila without the alcohol? Maybe you like a margarita. Maybe you like, I'm trying to think what other drinks tequila. I just drink margaritas all the time. I love a margarita more than anything. I'm an on the rocks, no salt. Now I'm salt because I realize how much sodium I need. But this tequila tastes exactly like tequila, but it has no alcohol in it. All right. New Year's Eve, so many people go, I'm not going to drink anymore. Guess what? Haven't had a drink. I had like probably 6 drinks in the whole month of December, and that was a lot for me. Well, now January, I'm down to 0. And I still am going to have a margarita because I like it. My wife doesn't drink much, likes tequila. They have gin. They have whiskey. They taste delicious. If you like the taste of alcohol and you want to have those cocktails. And you're like, well, why would you? Because maybe you're pregnant and you can't drink. Maybe you went through rehab and you can't drink alcohol. Maybe there's a number of reasons. You're just trying to cut down. And guess what? This will still hydrate you. This isn't going to be a diuretic. This isn't going to make you, it's not going to give you a hangover. You're not going to feel like shit. You're going to be able to work out the next day. No problem. No problem. Just as well as if you were drinking water or something. Like, there's no alcohol in this. So here's the deal. If you're thinking about doing dry January, you want to have Ritual in your cupboard. It's got the flavor, the body, and the heat of a great drink, but without the alcohol, and you can substitute it in place of traditional spirit to make a non-alcoholic version of your favorite drink. You're going to get $5 off. That's $5 off your order. RitualZeroProof.com. With promo code WodCAST Holiday. Got that? Okay. So you're going to get $5 off this. RitualZeroProof.com with the promo code WodCAST Holiday. What a great gift to give to somebody that's an alcoholic. It's your way of saying, hey, stop it. Here's what, or, the funnier part is if they just drink it not even knowing. Like, you don't tell them. They're like, oh, I see tequila. And then they're like, oh, I didn't feel anything. Or I'm going to give you another idea. The company probably doesn't want me to tell you this, but how fun would it be to have like your high school friends, not friends, that's weird, have your, like, if you have kids in high school and you're like, you want to have a party? And they're like, yeah, all right, I'm going to let you have a party at our house. Here, we'll even buy the alcohol. And you buy all this. And then maybe you just like, they won't even know. Kids won't know the zero proof thing. Or you just scratch that out. And then they drink. And them and their friends run around like, I'm so wasted, dude. Oh, man. And you're like, oh, really? Are you? Because you just drank Ritual Zero Proof and you're faking it. That was like a big thing in high school. I always wanted to do that, have a keg party with a non-alcoholic beer keg and watch the people that are like stumbling around like, I'm so drunk. But no, this is if you like a cocktail, you want your cocktail. They got whiskey, gin, and tequila. Check them out, ritualzeroproof.com. Use the promo code WodCAST Holiday. Now, about this episode, my guest today, this is for anybody that owns a box, anybody that wants to go back to their box, anybody that really, really cares about the CrossFit community, the CrossFit business as a whole. You need to listen to this episode. My guest is a good friend of mine, Mike Tromello. Mike is not only an awesome coach, he's L2 certified in all kinds of weightlifting, head strength coach at Harvard Westlake, which is like the best prep school, one of the best, if not like it's like top 5 in the country. He is certified to the hilt. He is coached many games athletes, but he runs an incredible gym. He runs a really, really good gym over in Westlake, Gore Hills, actually, and called Precision CrossFit. I have been there. I have trained there with him. He is an incredible coach, and they are doing well right now. They are doing so well because he has figured out how to do it in COVID. And there's a lot of lessons to learn from him, from Mike, and from this episode. So check it out, listen, and get a hold of Mike if you want some help on what to do. Because, again, this is a community. Remember, #community. So, contact Mike and be like, well, yo, what's up? I don't know what to do. My gym's folding because everyone has coronavirus. Well, figure it out. Figure out what to do, who to contact, how to keep open, how to do it outside, how to keep it clean. Purify. So do all of that, all right? And enjoy this episode. I have so many booked guests coming up. So this one, Mike Tromello, but in the next weeks coming up, I've got Anthony Roberts, who wrote all the controversial steroid and CrossFit articles. So we talk steroids for like 2 hours. I have Marcus Philly coming up, who is probably the best built man in CrossFit. Like Rich Froning looks at him and goes, wow, I wish I was built like you. I have Chris Smith is supposed to be doing an episode. Chris, who is a former Navy SEAL, just did the Eco Challenge. Pat Vellner is supposed to be doing an episode. Where are you, Pat? I forgot. It's my fault I didn't get back to you, but I will be recording that one soon. So many good episodes. Ryan Dalton. Is it Ryan Dalton? Ryan, not Ryan Dalton. I'm thinking of another guy. Ryan Hall is doing an episode. Who's had the American record in the marathon, in the 26.2 mile marathon, and now he's like jacked. Went from like skinny marathoner to like jacked buff dude. So so many good episodes. I'm looking for you, Glassman. I'm looking for you. We need to do our episode. It would be the best episode ever. Same thing, Matt Fraser, Tia. Some interesting stuff going on lately, if you know what I mean, with the I don't know if I'm going to that's one thing I do want to mention. I really would like to find $1 million, and I present the WodCAST $1 million throwdown between Matt Fraser and Rich Froning. I'm just going to say that. Morning Chalk Up, pick this up. Eddie Ift, let's just say it. And then I'll be like, I don't have $1 million. Eddie Ift is putting up $1 million for a pay-per-view event where it's going to be called the WodCAST pay-per-view event. Such a bad name. Where Matt Fraser and Rich Froning will go on a week-long vacation together, and we find out. where they compete against each other in a number of CrossFit and other events like chess and I don't know. But I know all of you out there are like, Fraser would kill him. Fraser's like the best ever. Frony. Don't count Frony out. Don't count him out. Especially because I need this to happen. My $1 million throwdown, the WodCAST throwdown, $1 million going to the winner, Matt or Rich, and it's a pay-per-view event, $49.99. $49.99. I only need I don't know what the math is on that. Let's find out what the I don't know what the math is, but hey Siri, what's 1 million divided by 49.99? Oh, wait. No. Hey Siri, what is 1 million divided by 49.49? No, stop. Hey Siri, what is 1 million divided by 49.49?
It's about 20,206.1022.
So if 20,206 people would sign up and watch for $49.99, I could pay Rich and Matt, whoever wins. I've been drinking Ritual Zero Proof, man. All right, we got to get on to this episode with Mike Tromello. I just did 17 minutes of an intro that I shouldn't have done. All right, enjoy the episode. You are now on audio recording. Let me hear you one more time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect.
You look like you're hiding in a closet.
My office is a converted closet.
You should call it a cloffice.
A cloffice is a good name.
A cloffice was in my old house. My assistant I gave her an office. She called it a cloffice.
Cloffice is a good name.
Yeah.
I actually have my daughter's office inside the closet behind me, actually, for school.
Ours are very interesting where you put the kids to go to school. It's like anywhere that they won't. We put ours in a dungeon in the basement. We don't even have a basement. It's a crawl space.
You have a basement in Malibu?
It's a crawl space. We just put her in there and we feed her under the door. And I'm hoping she goes to Harvard.
I mean, she's gonna learn. She's gonna learn one way or the other.
Yeah, she's gonna learn. She's my daughter. You know that Hunter gave the clown paintings to.
Yes, I'm very aware of the clown paintings.
He's a terrible person. Mike Tromello, ladies and gentlemen, he's coached the uncoachable. That's your greatest claim to fame, is that you coached the man that is so uncoachable.
I guess you're right, actually. I never thought of it like that.
Everyone I've ever met that's talked to him is like, oh, that guy, he's impossible.
You know, it's funny. I don't find him that impossible. I find him actually really easy to reason with and talk to.
I find him impossible. He's going to give the world COVID the way he travels.
That's actually been a topic that he's had to deal with quite a bit over the last couple of months.
Yeah, but he takes the test all the time.
All the time.
I have yet to take the test. My wife and the whole family went and took it while I was here. They were in North Carolina, and they were all bitching about it, saying like how bad it was. It goes up your nose. It feels like you're having your brain scratched and blah, blah, blah. I rolled up tissue paper and shoved it so far up my fucking skull to prove to them that it's not that bad. And they were all like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, they're like, he's just bunching it up inside his nose. And when I pulled it out, there was like a stream of like phlegm and shit coming. They were like, oh my God, that went. And I didn't tell them, but it just burned so bad. And I just held it in like, I just pretended like nothing was happening.
It hurt, man. I've had it done twice, and it's not pleasant. I'm teary-eyed every time it's happened.
I really hope with what's going on. I want to talk to you a lot today about you having a gym here in Southern California, the epicenter of COVID, and how hard it is not only to own a CrossFit gym, but to own a CrossFit gym in a pandemic in the worst place in the world. and you're doing it successfully.
Yes.
So that's why I want to talk to you.
Awesome.
Besides the fact that you're a friend, but
Yeah.
most importantly, I want to talk to you about the Tesla Service Center.
I forgot about that.
For the people listening that don't know why you're laughing,
sorry.
I have a bit of a hot temper, a little bit, and sometimes I get like I don't like injustice. That's what gets me mad.
Yeah, not at all.
And Mike's gym is over on the other side of the mountain, from where I am, and I go there a lot, especially when I go to Shake Shack.
Yes, yeah.
And you're fairly close to Shake Shack, would you say?
I'm very close.
Yeah.
I'm on an exit from Shake Shack.
Okay. So I go to Shake Shack to pick up food for the family. This is the beginning of the pandemic, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they have this deal where, like, you drive up, you've already ordered the food on the app online, you pull up, you say your name, they come over, they have masks on, you have masks on, they like throw the food in your car window and then run and dive in the bushes. Like it's like that. They're
really?
like,
Okay.
yeah, they want it to be like.
I haven't done the Shake Shack COVID experience yet.
It's actually, I like it. I'm like, can we keep it this way that I like don't have to walk in your store and pick up shit? Like you just, somebody comes flying out and like, you know, throws like a Ben Roethlisberger into my window and I drive away. Well, so I get my food. I'm ordering for the whole family. I got to get in there and I'm pulling up and I stop right before the table to put my mask on. As I stop, the car behind me zings around me, which everybody knows is a bullshit move. Wherever you do that, people only do it in cars. They'd never do it in person because you'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Who do you think you are? That's like, it's cutting in line. All right.
It's cutting in line, yeah.
So this Tesla pulls up and I'm thinking, entitled rich asshole. You know, I know. Hey, cheers. Cheers. So I'm thinking, whatever. They tell him his food's not ready and to go park at they have a whole bunch of parking spots for whatever the name of the Shake Shack. So he pulls in there. I pull up. I say my name. They throw me my food. And then in order to turn around to come back out, I have to go do a 3-point turn at the parking spots where he is located. And my window was still down from getting the food. And I happened to have to do my 3-point turn right next to him. And his window happened to be down. And I might have accidentally said douchebag as I was doing my 3-point turn. And it was like, I don't know what I said because the reaction it created was the reaction you would get if I said I fucked your mother, because that's exactly what he said back to me. He started screaming, "What?
That's what he said.
What?" And he was like, "I fucked your mother. I fucked your mother." And now I don't want this to sound racist at all. I'm just going to identify what his this goes with the story. I don't know what ethnicity he was. I could say all I know is there was some accent to it. I don't know what he was, but there was an accent that made him look like the bad guy in a movie that is like, he could be Italian, he could be Greek, he could be Middle Eastern, he could be Spanish, whatever it was, Mexican. But he was like this, like, I fuck your mother, you know. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's like losing his mind because I called him a douchebag after he cut around me. So I'm like, I just start laughing. And he's wearing a Tesla hat, driving a Tesla.
And he's wearing a Tesla jacket, I believe.
Yeah.
He's like,
I go, he gets out of the car and starts screaming at me. And when he's like, I kick your ass. And I go, no, you won't. He's like, I fuck your mother. And I had my phone with me. I go, no, I'm on the phone with my mom right now on FaceTime. She said she would never fuck you. And I'm like and I'm going back and forth with him. I'm like, my mom says you're short, you know, and he's like losing his mind. And he's like getting more and more mad. And he keeps telling me, and I go, dude, if I get out of the car, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm getting mad because I'm got flip flops on. It's hard to win a fight in flip flops, and I don't know anyone that's ever won a fight in flip flops. If you did, you're the toughest motherfucker alive, because it's just you can roll an ankle, they can go off on you. And then I'm thinking this is hardcore COVID time, and I'm like, I'm gonna get COVID from this guy just because I called him a douchebag. So he's getting like really mad, and he comes over and he stomps my car door.
Hit your car, yeah.
And I'm like, oh motherfucker. So I'm like, he looks like he has less to lose than I do at this point. Yeah. And I'm like, he's doing this for a reason. He's elevated this for a reason. So I'm like, I go, oh, now I got to call the cops. So I go to take a picture of him. And I'm just like, I'll get your license plate. He stands in front of his license plate and gives me the finger.
The finger.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the picture you sent me.
Yeah. So he just stands in front of his license plate. So then I pick up the phone and I pretend like I've called 911, and I haven't, because I don't care enough. But I go, yeah, my car was just vandalized by a guy. I'm over at the Shake Shack in West Hills. I go, yeah, it's a Tesla. I can't see the license plate because there's a douchebag standing in front of it. And he gets in his car, and look, I'm doing this from my passenger window.
Yeah, it's
if you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing this. That's from my passenger window. He gets in his car and makes what would be a right there. And I don't know how he got out of there, because I had him blocked in. He just misses my car and then almost hits like 3 people in the parking lot leaving there. So I might have chased him a little bit, at a slow pace. All
I got from you was, do you know this guy? Tesla's across from you, right? I have no. Did you come out of the blue? Tesla's across the street from you, right? I'm like, well, yeah. Do you know any of the people that work there? I'm like, no. Do they drive around? I'm like, sometimes they drive in the parking lot. Yeah. Do you know this guy? You sent me that picture. All I had was a guy flipping me off in a picture. I'm like, is he serious? Is he full of shit?
Well, here's the story.
That's a great story. I didn't know the background.
So I come home and I'm like complaining to my wife and everything. And my wife goes, "You idiot! Look at him. He's wearing like a service guy outfit. He works at Tesla." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just thought he was some rich asshole, like the Tesla driver that thought, the world owed him." And I'm like, so I Googled to see if there's a Tesla service center, and I see Precision CrossFit Tesla. And that's why I sent that over to you. And you're like, I go, "Is this what they wear?" And you're like, "Yep." Well, then I thought I should how can I have fun with this? So I didn't go the next day. I had to go over. There's a Quest laboratories over there where I had to get my blood drawn for inside tracker. Yeah. And so when I went over to get my blood drawn, I'm like, well, I think I'll drive by Tesla. So I drive in the parking lot, and they've got all the bay windows open, for them working on the cars. Yeah,
I pull up service center.
He's right there.
He's right there, really.
So right there. So I pull right up and give it a little toot toot on the horn, and I just look at him, and he looks at me with utter fear.
Oh my God, he found me.
He found me, and I just mouthed. And I thought I could just walk into the manager's office and be like, "Hey," but I didn't want to do that. You don't know if the guy had a bad day or whatever the story was. Whatever, he shouldn't have driven like an asshole like that, and he shouldn't have kicked my car. But
we've got a couple encounters with them. They'll test their cars in our parking lot and speed around in a circle, and we've had to go out there stop them and say, "Hey, not here," because we have kids that walk by.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard, and Valley CrossFit's across from a Tesla as well.
Okay.
And they've had, I remember back in the day, because we used to do events at Valley, they had multiple issues with Valley doing similar stuff. They're douchebags, Tesla. And they're the way they do.
Well, things. I imagine Elon Musk, I don't want to call him a douchebag, but
it's not him. It's the service center people.
No, but I know, but I always feel I think I read the book, What They Don't Teach You in Harvard Business School. And they said if the receptionist at a place is an asshole, that means the CEO is an asshole, because it's all top down. The way the tone that the CEO sets is the tone. Yeah. And he does have, Elon Musk has this arrogant, you know,
Yeah,
as he deserves. I mean,
he's
but
brilliant.
but
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that his employees can just cut people off
yeah.
at Shake Shack and
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
try to
It
get their
only took
Shack
like
burger.
2 encounters of me stopping people from speeding in the lot, and then they never did it again. So like they listened, and then we used to use their lot just to fuck with them for events. We would park all of our cars in their lot, and that pissed them off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so we kind of gotten back at them a little bit, and we've had a little funny feud, but like we kind of like we don't really mess with each other much anymore. But they are pains in the butts.
So how is business going?
We're doing very well. We wrapped up 2020 with the best fourth quarter of Precision CrossFit's 9-year history.
That's amazing. That's
Insane.
amazing. So let's get into what are the secrets? What have you done?
Wow. What I did was I had a 2,100 square foot outdoor area that we always kind of use for like miscellaneous stuff, like strongman stuff, and like, you know, tent city for events and stuff like that. And I decided to invest in it and build a 2,100 square foot outdoor area. So 40-foot rig, 12 stations, like rubber stations with turf, and then whiteboard, you name it, and rings, and it's literally an outdoor CrossFit gym.
Now, are you in Agora or are you in what technically is the area that you're in?
I'm in Agora Hills.
Okay.
I'm smack dab in the middle of Agora Hills, but technically Agora Hills is LA County, and LA County is a really fucked up county to be in.
I was just going to say, has LA County given you any shit about it?
Oh God, yes. I have dealt with. I've gone to war with LA County and with the city of Agora, but I actually. It was all peaceful, just kind of like I must before CrossFit ever came out with email your senators and your governors and your city officials. I was already doing it in March. So I feel like I was the first to really jump into it. In March 14th, we were shut down. I believe March 16th, I was writing letters, and I just stayed on it. And it's a long story, but to make it short, I ended up getting before we ever. In June or July of this year, I ended up getting the city of Agora to make Precision CrossFit essential and give us a permit to be open. As long as I agreed to create the outdoor area. And my beautiful wife is Pepperdine's, one of the Pepperdine's interior designers. She's actually like second in command when it comes to like designing the school. She's in charge of their COVID unit to kind of get kids back on campus and get them back to school with all the new rules. And the rules are always changing. It's crazy. They just don't know what they're doing. It's a different thing every week. My wife actually called the city of Agora and worked directly with the city of Agora to design the outdoor area so that it was actually COVID approved by the city and the county. And they gave us a permit based on that to stay open. So we got to stay open due to that. And then we kind of rolled with the punches as far as the outside/inside and all that. And let's be realistic. Like we follow the rules, but I'm definitely a believer in rules are meant to be bent and not broken. So we definitely do a bent, but don't break approach towards like inside, outside, but we try and stay outside as much as possible. We do go inside from time to time if certain situations allow us to be.
So it's like don't ask now, just apologize later kind of thing.
I'm all about I'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission at this point. And I've always been like that. And so I've definitely done a lot of asking for forgiveness, but I've talked to lawyers. I even hired a lawyer to make sure I had some legal backing and to get some advice. And I've gotten I just know what to say when they come by.
And they do come by.
Yes.
Like who does? I want to know who shows up.
The police leave us alone. Honestly, they came by once, but we have a lot. I will say this: we have a lot of first responders at Precision, a lot of fire, a lot of police. So they really don't bother us because I believe in that relationship, that brotherhood. That
sure. I think on that note, I've heard from another gym. I don't want to say their name because they're open sort of illegally or whatever they're doing. Same kind of situation. And the police showed up. They're like, we had a complaint, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And they looked and they go, looks good to us, and walked away.
Yeah. That's kind of what's happened with the police that have showed up. We've had a couple, my ex-partner, Greg Smiley, was a SWAT sergeant for Santa Monica PD for 25 years. He's amazing. And he was working out in the gym one day with a couple of friends, and the police officer walked by or drove by, stopped, looked in, saw Greg, knew Greg. They gave like a hot fist pump to each other, and the guy drove away.
That's awesome.
So that is one thing, but we have had public health come.
Okay.
They don't just come because they're coming. They come because someone whistleblows. Mm-hmm. So somebody said that we had people inside, and we actually were in the time we were sticking strictly to outside. And they showed up middle of the day, like 10 o'clock, which we don't even have classes at that time. And we had just my coaches were inside and they were just talking. One person was finishing up a workout and putting away their stuff, just coach time. And they gave them a warning saying, hey, you guys aren't supposed to have anybody inside. You know, the jargon you're hearing like crazy. And long story short, pretty much my general man, my head coach was just like, listen, it's just the coaches inside. We're not having classes out here. And they said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give you a warning, and it looks like everything's good. We'll be back within the next 2 weeks to check on you guys again. They never came back. But here's the funny story, Eddie. You're going to love this. I get a letter about 4 weeks later from the city public health department saying that our case is closed, that they showed up, nothing was out of the ordinary, like they were told, and they're closing our case. But they made sure to bill me $75 for their time to show up to my gym and check and see that I was in accordance to the law.
Wow. California's got to make that money.
Got to make that money. So I happily paid the $75 because I'm like, I don't want to poke the bear, but it's just hilarious. Right. So I had to pay for someone telling on me that I was doing something illegal and I wasn't.
Who do you think would tell on you? And
we have these people.
And let's go find them.
Yeah, seriously. We have these people that are just going around town, just trying to tell on businesses that are open so that they can, because they think they're like Robin Hood of COVID, like they're gonna save people from getting in. They're just hurting small businesses, just trying to make a living.
Well, I'm a firm believer. I'm very weird about this whole COVID thing. I'd like just to let you know what my stance is, so that I don't sound like and people listening. And I don't know where I come from, just like everybody else. You know, I try to rely on science. I try. Like I'm not a naysayer. I believe in the virus. I believe it's horrific. I believe in masks. But I also believe in like that horrible things can happen if we shut this country down.
Yes.
And this should have been dealt with early on, where we shut down, cleaned it up, and then been more strategic. I think there's been a really bad top down from everything, the federal government, the state government, everything. It's been handled horribly, and we're not talking politics here. I'm not talking Republican, Democrat.
In general,
I'm talking.
I agree.
It's been handled horrifically, from testing to everything. And I had friends doing the testing, so I know how they were able to do it privately, and how efficient they were and how successful they were compared to the state level. Now, LA County's been very good at testing, but businesses like my own business, like I'm in this world of like, do I tour? Do I not tour? I don't want to. I don't want to take risks. I don't want to bring it home. I don't want to give it to my family. I don't want to mistakenly give it to other people. I don't want to be asymptomatic walking around. But I also understand, like, I need to make money for my family. And if the government's not going to be able to provide me that money to stay home, then fuck you, government. I can't do it. Like, we'd starve to death. So
I know.
So the government's in this quandary where it's like, you can't tell people to shut down and not provide them with an income.
Yeah.
Or you have to let them open and then isolate and lock down the at-risk people.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
I don't have a problem with that. My parents are extremely at risk. They're in their 80s. My mom has pulmonary fibrosis. She's on oxygen already. They're on lockdown. They're not coming out. We don't go near them. We go to their house. We go outside. They stay in the house. We don't risk that. We don't take risks with them. We are waiting. Hopefully they'll get vaccinated in the next couple months.
You know, we found out my dad had bladder cancer during this year.
Okay, and sorry to hear that.
No, but he went through chemo and he beat it during COVID season 2020. And you know how hard it was not to see my father hug my dad. You know, stuff like
terrible.
That, you know? Yeah, it's horrible. You know. And I feel you. And like, my mom's a nurse practitioner. She's in the front lines, you know, so I understand the virus. I also understand I need to survive. And it was such a hard, like, middle ground to take, where I need to survive for my family. I need to survive for my gym, for the well-being of my members, their mental health and their physical health. But I need to have this thin line where I also understand that this is a problem. And I need to side with my mom and help my mom and my parents so they can get the word out there to wear a mask and to take vitamin D and, you know, take the proper things that are getting you. And my mom and I did a couple little podcasts together telling people how to handle COVID throughout the time, just to help my community get through it.
I'm very curious. Rogan talks about it a lot, about how nobody talks about the health end of this. Like, everybody's talking about getting vaccinated. You know, there's a pill for everything. Let's get vaccinated. Let's or let's lock stuff down. Nobody talks about let's get healthy. Let's all try to really get healthy. And in the beginning, I saw a lot of people buying bicycles. Like, I was talking to my buddy at Specialized, and they can't even keep bikes.
In
Like,
stock.
they're gone. They're gone for like a year. Everybody's bought up and it's like, wow, everybody's joining gyms, or doing home programming. Everybody's working out. But I also read addictions at like its highest numbers, and people are eating horribly, and there's a lot of this like, who gives a shit anymore? I'm just going to do what's comforting. So. And that's like the opposite of what you need to do. It's like we're fighting a war against something.
Yeah.
You need to go to work, start exercising, start eating healthy, stop drinking so much. People are drinking more than they've ever drank, and it's like
the problem with the United States health system is that we treat disease, we don't prevent it.
Yeah, we're reactive. It's the war. It's the worst.
And Glassman did say this before he put his foot in his mouth, but he did always say this: is he always said that we're the front lines. Like, as a CrossFit affiliate owners, our job is to keep people healthy so that they're healthier long term. And that was always our jobs, but the health system is treating disease.
Well, it's funny. Dr. Drew, who's a good buddy of mine, who now has COVID right now.
Yeah.
He is a doctor of medicine, and he loves medicine. When you talk to Dr. Drew, he will tell you about every drug and what it does, and they're miracle drugs. I've got a brother with something that like takes a pill for something. There's like, everybody takes something that works for something and saves tons of lives. I get it, but there's a lot of shit out there that people don't need to take that they could avoid taking. And in this situation, like, I was talking to Dr. Drew the other day about his COVID, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Decudron and da 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 da," and it was where I asked him how he got it, and it's I probably shouldn't talk about it on here. I don't know if he wants it out. But it was nothing big. It was just he was, exposed by someone around where a whole bunch of people got it. But the fact that it's like, go straight to that instead of, how's everybody? A lot of people are taking the vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc. And
there's a massive study out there that a high percentage of patients
85% of the people in ICUs are vitamin D deficient. However, that could be epidemiological. Like, there could be reasons behind that: poverty, race, all kinds of things. But we're seeing high rates in the Hispanic and Black communities, and they have a difficult time their skin absorbing vitamin D because they have darker skin, and so there's a weird link there, and hopefully a lot of studies are going to come in and be able to help us out with this.
Yeah.
But
in interesting times.
We'd like to, how do I say it? I forget how this goes. We'd like to interrupt the following broadcast to bring you, how did that go? I always do. The following broadcast is being interrupted. Blah, 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 blah. The reason I'm interrupting is to talk about eat the 80. Eat the 80. It's the greatest food in the world. It's delicious. It's fast. It's quick. It's healthy. And you just put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and then you eat the 80. I don't get to eat the 80 a lot because my wife and children now eat my 80. And they keep sending me it because I love it so much. And they keep eating it. And I don't think it's fair. My wife is like negotiating with them to get more. And I'm like, what about me? What about me? I'm the one. So I've been hiding it. We have another freezer in the garage, and I hide it in there. When the box comes, I get it before they do. And I hide it from them because I love it so much. It is the best tasting like meal prepped food. Like, you can buy them. Here's what they look like. This is it. They just come like this. They come in all this recyclable shit. Everything's recyclable. The box, the container, the stuff that keeps it cold. It comes like this. And I'm defrosting this one because I'm eating this before I go to bed. And I don't have to defrost it. You can take it straight out of the freezer and right into the microwave. 3 minutes. This is beef stew with twice baked potato. One of my favorites. Chicken dumplings is my favorite. The Texas scramble, I think it's called. is the best for mornings. It's great. It's just like sausage and eggs, and there's so much flavor to everything. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is why it's so good. First of all, 384 calories. Let's look at total fat, 11 grams. Total carbs, 40 grams. Total sugars, which only 8 of that is sugar, and then protein, 31 grams right here. This is 31 grams. So if you break down those macros, they're almost perfect. And one of the great things about this, listen to the ingredients, okay? 100% grass-fed organic beef tenderloin steak. Russell potatoes, beef stock, carrot, celery, yellow onion, egg yolks, garlic, arrowroot powder, black pepper, sea salt, Italian parsley. That's it. That's all that's in there. Can you find a bad ingredient in there? I can't. I don't see anything in here that's like bad for you. So it's incredibly delicious. It is so healthy, and it's going to save you a lot of trouble in life. Get it now. You just order. They've got like 30 dishes on the menu. I can't stop talking about it. I don't tell them this, but I would still do ads for them even if they weren't paying for them because I love it so much. They're delivered 2-day shipping, okay, to ensure freshness. They've got Whole30 options, vegetarian, keto, macro balanced. Like I said, I want you to know their kitchen is highly hygienic and as clean as it possibly gets. And look, at the end of the day, you're nuking this in the microwave, and it comes in this package, so you didn't even have to worry about it. It's not like you're going to get COVID from this, but it's so healthy anyways. Like they really are strict about their hygiene standards, so you don't have to worry about that. They also have a partner program. If you're a trainer anywhere in any kind of world, think about it. Well, one of the problems is your clients they won't eat right, and you can't control that. Well, you can if you get them on this and go, hey, I want you Eat the 80. Good thing is, if you get them on it, they have a partner program. They'll give you like 10%. So they will give you credit towards your food. When your clients are eating this, if you're a box owner, you get everybody eating it, you're going to eat free forever. And I'm telling you, I'd eat 3 meals of this a day, and that is not a joke. So go to info@eatthE80.com. That's EATTHE80.com. So info@eatthE80, the number 80.com, and get on that program. Otherwise, if you just want to buy them and you just want to, get some, they're running a special 25% off your first order. That's $45 off your first order. You got to put in DEC25, DEC25 at eatthE80.com. Okay, so go to eatthE80.com. When you check out, promo code DEC25, all caps, DEC25, and get 25% off your first order. Do it now. Try the beef stew with twice baked potato, and let me know. Anybody who gets it, please write to me. I will talk. I will write back to you on like the IG and the Facebook and whatever to talk to you about ET80. That's how much I like it. Wow. All right. Back to the show. Yeah, but I was saying, like, you opening your gym, it's a hard decision to make, but how efficient do you think you've been? How successful with keeping everybody COVID-free and not?
So that's been obviously the hardest part, and then adjusting to everything, but we've been very successful. We've had, don't get me wrong, we've had people get COVID, not from the gym, but we've had, here's what I'll say about the CrossFit community in general, especially a very strong CrossFit community.
By the way, look in your picture right now. Sorry to interrupt you. Look, wait, move over to the side again. Sit there. Wait, no, in the middle. Yeah. See with the mirror, your head back there. It looks like you've got like somebody sticking a dick up. Like,
that's funny. I never even
they're about to hit you on the back of the head.
Smack me like that. It's my mirror, man.
Okay. Now that I see your ears, it no longer looks like it.
No, honestly, we've had people get it in the gym, not from the gym, but one thing I'll say about CrossFitters is that they definitely care about their health and their gym's well-being, and they really don't want to lose their privilege. So they are very good about, as soon as they are exposed or they know they are not coming in at all, getting tested, and they're really good about telling me or telling people that they've been around. So we've kind of had our own little. We've had people get
that
tested.
and that's good that you're like that, because there's a lot of COVID shame out there. I just had a buddy tell us all our high school friends are on a chain, and he's like, hey, Thanksgiving, I didn't tell you guys, but I had COVID, and we're like, he's like, I was afraid you'd like shame me, and I'm like, what? Like, anyone can get this.
I know, and it's so easy,
and it's not your. I mean, if you were an asshole about it, but which he wasn't. You know, I flew 2 days ago, and with my which I shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have. My wife insisted on seeing her family over the holidays, which I didn't want to. You know, but she's my wife, and she has a vagina, and I don't. And so I got on the plane. I went with her. We're locked down for 14 days now. Like, we really won't go anywhere, leave our house, or go around anywhere.
But you know what? At the same time, you got to live your life.
Yeah, I yes and no. Like, I think if the government would step in and say, we're going to shut shit down, and we promise you we will get a hold of this, and as soon as we're out of like these 14 days or 20 days, we'll be able to isolate. We'll be here's our plan. This is what we are going to do. And then we'll strategically take locations where there are hot spots, and there will be closures in those spots. But the rest of the country will stay open. But we will have, you know, when 9/11 happened, they had that coding system. TSA was developed. There was so much that was done after, where this is just like, and people are like, fuck you, I'm losing my freedom. I'm like, what freedom do you have right now? We've lost all our freedom. Like,
my favorite thing is don't get vaccinated. There's gonna be like a chip in there or something. It's like, you have a cell phone, you idiot.
Yeah.
They've been listening to your phone call. Like, you ever talk about something with a friend about a product, and all of a sudden you go on like social media, and the product's all of a sudden on your feed that you were just talking about? Like, how the hell did they hear that?
Yeah. I love the one. It's the vaccination is going to emit a thing that's going to connect to the 3G. And also there's the one when the people say, I don't know, I'm not putting that vaccine in my body. I don't know what that is. I don't want that in my body. It's always the least healthy people I've ever seen. And I'm like, do you understand the shit you put in your body on a daily basis? Yeah. Like the horrific shit you put in that you don't know the people that made that made it. You don't know what they made. You don't know what they're doing, and you have no problem doing that. Or, you know, like a meth head who's like, yeah, I'm not putting that shit in my body. Oh, you'll smoke meth.
But you'll take a vaccine.
This vaccine that like these companies wanted to make billions of dollars, so they worked so hard to find and make.
It's absolutely insane what I hear people say, and I just go, I've really had to mute myself quite a bit these days, and I hold my tongue. And also, I will say this: running a gym in this day and age, you really see there's people on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, like everywhere.
And across the gym, they really are. And in Agora Hills, where you kind of have like, you know, a lot of, you know, white privilege. I'm not going to say that. Got people that make money, and, you know, they're Republican or the Democrat. With the election, it was a whole freaking crazy thing. I've never seen. Like, I couldn't tell you what half my members were before this, but the election coming up and COVID, it was just coming out. And I had to diffuse talks several times. Hey, look, we're here for no religion, no politics. We're here to work out.
That's funny. You should have every CrossFit gym should have that on the wall. No, No taking your shirt off if you can't clean over 245 pounds, and no talking religion, no talking.
I call it the 14-inch bicep rule. You can't take your shirt off unless you have 14-inch biceps.
You know, I think I'm right at 14. Am I allowed?
Right at 14?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever. That's not true.
If you're really hot.
Yeah, there were like 2 WODs where, you know, like you feel like you're dying.
Not to take your shirt off.
And you're like, if I take my shirt off, I might not die.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't take it off, and if I'm really dying, I just things need to come off.
I tried to make these funny CrossFit shirts. I didn't really advertise them on our page. That's why I didn't sell a lot of them, but I might put them back up. But I was trying to put all these funny, because like WodCAST, because we're like a joke of a show, and I was trying to put all these funny slogans on them, and I realized no one's gonna buy t-shirts now because they have nowhere to go wear them. But I had one that said your warm-up is our workout.
Your warm-up is our workout. Yeah, that's an old one.
And the old one is your
warm-up is our
your workout is our warm-up, and I made it your warm-up is our workout. Yeah. And then I had one of them that said this shirt always stays on. And I forget what the third one was. It was funny. That was the funniest one, and I can't remember what it was.
They're good ones though.
Yeah, but back to that, the no religion, no politics. You were saying you didn't know where your
Yeah, I didn't know where they lied until this happened, and then I really had to find this thin line where I just had to accept both sides, not really argue with either side, just accept what they had to say and accept what the other side had to say, and just kind of like move through it. And that was really tough because I am very outspoken when it comes to that stuff, but I really do keep it to myself. And I think you and I are very much on the same page as far as how I felt about it. And I just had to say, like, if they didn't believe in it, I did be like, but that person does. So just do me a favor and just for them, do your social distancing, wearing your mask. I'd appreciate it.
Well, here's where it gets interesting because we look at it's not a left or right thing, and people are like,
it's not.
Hey, the Republicans are all anti-mask. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. And they're like, oh my God, the Democrat. No, it's the radicals on both sides.
It is.
So the people on the far right are anti-mask, anti-lockdown, which is weird because they're the people that are so pro-life.
Yeah.
They're so pro-life, but when it comes to older people, they're like, fuck them, let them die.
It's so crazy.
Then the people on the left, the super hippie left, are the ones that are like, you're not putting anything in my body. I don't believe in this and I don't believe that. Because I always say it's horseshoe theory. There's a French philosopher that came up with this theory that it's not a linear line where the left and the right are. It's like conservative over here and liberals over here. It's a horseshoe. And the farther you go to the polls, the closer they come together. Yeah. And so the radical left, like Antifa and not Black Lives Matter. What am I talking about? Antifa and the the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
They can all go fuck themselves. I would love it if they would meet up. I want them to meet up and kill each other. I've had enough of your bullshit.
Me too.
Like nobody agrees with you on either side. Like you're but so those are the people that cause all the misinformation. And I've talked with one of our mutual friends about this, and it's like the silent middle, the silent majority middle needs to start speaking up and telling them both to shut the fuck up because they create all the misinformation. They're the ones that are like for years they never had a voice. We'd always just go, oh, those are those crazy people.
Yeah.
And you just ignore them. But for some reason they became entertaining because, shows like Duck Dynasty started becoming popular and the more outlandish and the more crazy you were, the more your voice was heard. It's like, look at the Osbournes. People started, it was reality television, The Apprentice. People want to watch the craziest fucking people they watch it. And now all of a sudden the voice of reason is gone. And it's like, let's listen to the unreasonable.
They've also got social media to power their thoughts. They have a platform to speak they never had back in the past. That's a huge thing.
But it was somehow like you always like a train wreck, but for some reason now we watch the train wreck and we're like, they were right. They were smart to crash the train.
Listen, Southern California has not only destroyed its economy, it's also found a way to be the #1 hub for COVID cases in the world. Talk about a train wreck.
I've seen some weird statistics though, which they can all be manipulated, and about like case per million but like South Dakota and North Dakota are the fucking worst.
Yeah.
It's horrific there.
They're really bad.
But so is California that bad, or is it just that the hospitals, we don't have enough hospital capacity, or this, that, whatever the situation is? I don't know the exact statistics, and you can put an argument up either way.
It's really tough. Yeah, I agree. When we also are the size of a small country. Yeah. We are massive, 40 million people.
Massive.
A lot of people. Massive. LA County alone is like 20 million. That's a lot of freaking people.
Yeah.
So of course cases are going to be high, but it's just interesting that we just have so many positive cases.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting.
So people that have that have said they're positive that then say, hey, I got it. I'm not coming into the gym. They come back later, right? Once they're in the clear. All
Yeah.
healthy. You've never had
10
any.
to 14-day quarantine period, depending on their. So I followed what the CDC has says.
Yep.
So if they've been asymptomatic, I let them come back 10 days later with a negative COVID test. If they had symptoms, then it's 14-day quarantine with a negative COVID test to come back. And
such a CrossFitter going, I got to get back in there.
Dude, they want to get back. You'd be surprised of how many programs I've written people at their house that are just asymptomatic but in quarantine.
Yeah, well, that would suck. I mean, look, I would rather be asymptomatic than the other way. I've got a couple. Yeah. I've got one of my closest friends has it right now. Just got it a couple days ago. And he said the headaches are unbelievable. He said what else was he telling me? The fever, and then he's getting like he said like his skin feels like it hurts and it's itchy everywhere. And he lost his taste and smell, which, it's a weird virus. I just think it's funny the CrossFitters want back in the gym like day it's over.
They are dying to get back. It's been weird. I think the reason for the success too is that the community's tight. I kept them tight. Like we did. We went right to Zoom classes immediately, like the day after COVID closed us down in March. That kept us together as a community. We only lost 12% of our memberships because of that. I also put it out there that I was going to continue to pay the coaches throughout the entire quarantine period. So I still paid my coaches as if they were coaching a full load of classes, even though we were only coaching 3 classes a day. So the members knew that the coaches were going to stay employed. And I think that was huge for my community to keep their membership with us and continue to let us grow, because that's massive. They wanted to make sure that the coaches that coach them every day had a job. Yeah,
that's great.
Also, we did a lot of events. Like I did a lot of Zoom, like happy hours.
Yeah.
They would go on Zoom with a drink and have a happy hour and just enjoy each other's company.
I've done shows for those happy hours. Like people.
That's awesome.
People. I just did one for Zoom. I zoomed Zoom.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Like the corporate ones are great because there's a lot of money. But like, the truth is, like you said, I can do them for CrossFit. So if you contact me,
I will totally.
I'll do that. Like if you guys are in a bind and you want to keep, like an event together for you, I will come on and do. It's funny. I do a little bit of like comedy up front, especially with CrossFit. So I can help you out, and then I end up doing a Q&A at the end. I don't want to,
you do.
But they end up like, hey, do you know Kevin Hart? He's a lot funnier than you.
So in Germany shut down all their gyms. Germany, Switzerland, Austria.
Yeah,
they shut all their gyms. They're still shut down. And so what they did was they pulled their resources as gyms and they started this online where you can essentially like Mike do a class out of California at 8:00 p.m. on a Tuesday. And I did a class for like 150 affiliates in Europe, and they're all on Zoom, and I did a class.
Oh, that's so cool.
We did seminars, and they got Bill Brunner involved. They got Hunter was supposed to do one. I don't know if you ever doing it.
Probably not. Probably not.
They got Bergner to do one. They got like some of those level 1 instructors to jump in. I think Castro made an appearance.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, man. They have this online affiliate Zoom now that they're doing. They're doing literally different classes in different places. Like you can go anywhere in the world to take a class if you're a member at CrossFit Munich in Germany. Like kind of cool.
That's so cool.
That's what they're doing.
The people that got COVID, your members, all of them fine?
Yeah.
Okay. That's also good to know. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see somebody compile some data, and it'd be nice to do if CrossFit could do it, if they could reach out to their members, their affiliates, and say, hey, how many of your members have gotten it so far? What have the results been? Because I don't want to jump to any conclusions or make any assumptions. Yeah. But I'd like to see it on the good side where they go, hey, we've had 2% of the membership get it, of the CrossFitters in the country that belong to affiliates, and 99.99% of them have been healthy, and that's against, let's say, the 98% in the United States. So it's going, hey, there's something to this or whatever. But I'm throwing out random numbers, but what I'm saying is just compile some data for something to compare.
It's funny that you say that because Eric Rosas, because he moved everything to Colorado. I heard from them for the first time 3 weeks ago. they called me. CrossFit HQ called me. I'll be honest with you. I've been an affiliate for 9 years. I've never once heard from HQ.
Right.
Other than me calling them about something. And then
Right.
I think year 3, a rep said she was my SoCal rep, called me, and I heard from her for one phone call. In the first 3 years I owned the gym, never heard from them again. So, but they called me and they were asking like about the gym, how's it going with COVID? They were asking all these questions about the affiliate, if I'm going to stay affiliated, and they were telling me how they're getting their ducks in a row essentially with the new staff in Colorado, and then what they were going to do going forward. And if I was in, and I said, yeah, I'm definitely in 100%. But they're working. I think what you're saying.
Had you de-affiliated?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not. I did put out a public post, which I think honestly helped me keep a lot of my members. But what I said was, I condemned what Glassman had to say, but I also said that I'm going to wait and see. I want to know what happens. I'm not just going to throw away at that time, 8 years of my affiliation because of one stupid idiot's comments, and I think CrossFit's a lot bigger than just that man.
Yeah.
And I will say this in all due respect to Glassman, he did say some horrible things, but I have had nothing but the best encounters with him. I've met him a couple times. He's been nothing but nice to me and super helpful. So I was totally upset to hear what he had to say.
I also, my firm belief is the guy's not a racist, like
not a racist.
Not a racist at all. So
he definitely is
to peel him out on that one, like,
yeah,
that was a weird one. I mean, there were other things you could have criticized him about, and they did eventually with the women thing.
The women thing
like
was what I always thought was going to get him.
And oh wait, a CEO that's a womanizer? Imagine that. In the United States, in the world, and men with testosterone. Like I understand that. I'm not saying it's acceptable.
I had always heard the Andy Stump rum and he talked about in his podcast.
Yeah.
I'd always heard of it. I'd always kind of seen it, but I didn't really know the details of it until it came out. But it makes tons of sense.
Right. But as far as when they took the racial angle, it's so funny because I always criticize Greg out of just like for fun. I just like to poke the
you
bear.
guys always did. It was what the WodCAST was built on.
But then as soon as everybody else was against him, I was for him. I was like on his side. Like, all right, Greg, you're my buddy now. And
he put his foot in his mouth though.
Well,
he really did.
He did put his foot in his mouth. But I also I believe like you don't shut down a company based on that kind of thing.
No, that's a whole other conversation about, just cancel culture. And I don't want to get into that.
Right.
But.
That was all last episode, 2 episodes ago. I had Savon on here. And so, So we talked cancel culture the whole episode.
Oh, wow.
But, okay. So CrossFit calls you.
Yeah.
And what did they want us to?
They just want to know if I was going to stay as an affiliate. Cause I will say this, they waived my affiliate fee for 2020.
Awesome.
I was doing March freaking 12th, my affiliation was out and we were shut down March 14th. And I was like, I didn't want to spend any money at that time. $3,000 was, right. I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going to happen. The future does not look bright.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame you.
I called them and they got back to me within about 5 or 6 days. And they said, we're going to waive it for the time being. Don't worry about paying it. We'll get back to you. And then I was like, cool. And then shit hit the fan, for CrossFit. And I never heard from them again. Normally I was figured there'd be some kind of correspondence about the money, and then nothing until 3 weeks ago. And they said, well, you willing to pay the affiliation fee? I'm like, yeah, we have the money. We can pay the affiliation fee if you want us to. How about we give you a discount? I'm like, I would love a discount. I'm like, I'll stay anyway. I don't care. I'll pay $3,000. I'll take the discount, whatever you guys want. I'm in. And then I haven't heard from her since.
I was just going to say, how funny it would be if they totally forgot about it. And like 7 years later, they're like, hey, you haven't paid your affiliate fees.
No, it's interesting because my affiliation's due March 12th again. We're coming up on March 12th again. I mean, It's 2 months away. So I have a feeling they're just going to let it go, and I'll just pay them 2021. Starting my 10 year of his affiliation, I'll just pay the.
Well, it's. I mean, I don't know what they did for this last year. I mean, it wasn't like. I mean, I guess you still were a CrossFit gym, but.
Yeah, I mean, we had to deal with a lot though. Here's the deal: we dealt with COVID without zero help from CrossFit HQ, one of the most powerful fitness organizations in the world, did jack shit to help their affiliates. That was under Glassman's helm, right? They didn't go to Washington. They didn't go lobby for us. Half the people I know at CrossFit HQ didn't get a dime of PPP money. They didn't get any federal aid. They're going for the skin of their teeth.
I read an interesting article that the guy that owned Crunch Fitness got all the other gyms together, the Globo gyms.
Yes, he did.
And hired a lobby firm out of like, you know, a K Street lobby firm in Washington, D.C. to go out there and bust balls to get them open. And they were open. And it's like, if COVID's going to get spread in a gym, there is a much more likely chance of it happening at an LA Fitness or a Crunch or an Equinox than is going to happen in a small boutique.
I know.
And so I didn't understand that. And that led me to, that was my first reason for being upset about the way COVID is handled. That I was like, so the government is not out there. Look, my whole problem with government and politics, I don't want to get into, but it's campaign finance reform. It's like, if we fix the way these politicians got their money and stopped the lobbying, everything would be okay. Well, here it was happening with COVID. It's like, this decision's not made based on your health. This decision's being made based on how much money the politicians are getting for their campaigns. And so they are like, oh, there's no science involved. It was, hey, we're going to leave Crunch open because we're getting money from Crunch for our campaigns. Oh, CrossFit, you're not giving us any money? You're shut down.
Exactly.
And so when the government says then to me, you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do this, I'm going, I don't trust you guys.
No.
I'm not going to do it the way you're telling me because I got to dig deeper and find out the real reasons on everything myself because you're doing it based on your reelection. And laws are being, and that's why I could go into, everybody needs to watch a guy named Lawrence Lessig, Lessig, who is, he's a Harvard professor, and he wrote a book called, what's it called? Republic Lost, all about campaign financing. And it's like, we always talk about the problems in politics. There should be one politician that comes in and goes, here's the only problem. I'm going to come in, I'm going to fix this, and then I'm out. I'll leave after I fix this, and then you guys can deal with taxes and immigration and health care because it'll all be fixed after I fix this problem. And,
I agree.
And we just live in this flawed system. And here it is. We're dealing with COVID, and the problem with COVID, I mean, people can blame Trump all they want, and I don't like the guy. But Trump doesn't make the laws. Congress, Senate, you know, like the reason those gyms were open was because of the lobbyists.
You know, I tell these people all the time, I'm not a Trump guy, but at the same time, I don't disrespect him. I don't disrespect who the president of the United States was, you know, but I didn't like him.
What about his son's fucking Fran time, though? Or Murph time?
Does his son do Murph?
Don't you? Oh, come on. I should have made a bigger issue out of this.
I didn't know his son did Murph.
You didn't know the story about his Murph time?
No idea, man.
Somebody who's listening, please send me, because I know he deleted the post, but I know enough CrossFitters took photos of it. Okay. And I like to rehash this because it's like emblematic of the Trump family. Donald Trump Jr. has like a house in upstate New York, goes to a CrossFit gym in upstate New York.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yes. And you would think the CrossFit community would be like, yeah, he's one of us. Not when you what's the worst thing you can do in CrossFit is lie about your times and cheat reps. And
and lie about your score. Totally.
He posted about Murph one year. This was like maybe like 3-4 years ago. Okay. He was like, hey, not my best this year. I ran the last mile with my son, and my Murph time, I think it was like 34 minutes or something. Oh, and he's like, he's like, not my best time of 31. And I'm like, it was numbers that, like, he obviously wasn't doing it with a weight vest, but he was coming into the times of like the top males that when they wear a weight vest.
What's Hunter's world record with the weight vest?
Was it 31:30 or something? 31:34.
Yeah. Don Jr.
Don Jr.'s doing that without a weight vest. But then, again, like you said, the CrossFit gym split. Half the people in the comments were like, dude, way to go, Trump's rule. And then the other ones are like, you piece of shit, you're just like your dad. All you Trumps do is lie constantly. And then the thread just started to go. Yeah. And it started to get into people like, hey, I found your 5K time.
Of course they did.
You run 10-minute miles. That would mean you did Cindy in 11 minutes.
I'm sorry, CrossFitters love to dig up information to just pound you on social media with. They love it. They love to troll that.
But you know what's funny? He never posted again. Scores, times, anything. No, but it's like what we should have done is put CrossFit in charge of fact checking Donald Trump in everything he did. And then he would have been like, I'm out. These guys are ruthless.
Yeah, they are. They are, though. You don't want to find yourself on the other side of this community. I'll tell you right now, they are ruthless and they will tell you like it is.
Oh, my God.
Insane.
One of the reasons I took myself off the whiteboard is because I cheat at CrossFit. Not to win, never to win, but to get out of the workout sometimes.
To survive.
Yes. I will go, if I do this RX right now, they will be taking me out in a body bag. So I'm going from 10 reps on this to 8 reps each. Like I will shave reps because, and so I don't want to go up there afterwards and be like, I beat you. I'm like, they'll go, what's your time? And I'm like, don't fucking worry about it.
You know what's funny? To that point, I have a coach in my gym, short story, that he used to be a decent CrossFitter, but he's in his 50s now and he's still trying to do workouts RX, but he's just getting smoked. But to the point where he just looks really, really bad. And it's like, you know what, bro? It's time to scale the workout to your level and stay with the pack so that you're not just like coaching the class. Sometimes I'll let my coaches jump into class if they're coaching, if it's a small class, because the community likes that actually.
Yeah.
But then he's like, finishing 20 minutes after they're done. And I'm like, you just can't do that.
That was me. That was me. I had to start scaling.
You gotta scale, dude.
Yeah, the ego just got me, and I was like, I can't. But there was another gym, my friend's gym, that he put up security cameras in his gym.
Oh wow! And he started counting reps, wasn't he?
And there was one coach. If you're a coach, don't
cheat.
Don't cheat ever. And he had a coach that I was like, I felt like this guy and I were somewhat competitive. Like, you know, deep down, I'm like, I'm better than this guy. But we're probably very similar. And I mean, I would be like halfway through round 1 and I would look and he's on round 2. And I'm going so fast, like as fast as I could. And I'm like, just as like testing him, I'm like, I'm going to burn out on round 1.
You're just gonna go for it, yeah.
And I would look, and there he is, halfway through round 2. And I'm like, this guy how does he crush me every single time? There's no possible way he can do it. And I just watch all his movements and everything. And then my buddy was telling me, he's like, yeah, we put up cameras in the gym. And he goes, you would be amazed how many people cheat.
Oh,
he's like,
it's crazy. No, it's true. I mean, I definitely have my members. I know who they are, and I count the reps. I can tell. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's about giving them an experience. And if that's what they want to be, you know what? Like, that's what you want to be. I will say this. It's if you do it and then you gloat. You gloat how you beat somebody. I'm like, don't freaking gloat, man.
Yeah.
Like, you did half the workout. You know, like, don't gloat like you did at RX. Like, you did all the reps. Like, just don't. I have a couple that gloat. That doesn't rub. I've had members send me messages about these members that glow, and I've had to talk to them. Hey, man, like, just count your reps. Such an awkward conversation to have, by the way.
I know.
Calling out their integrity, and it's like, oh my God. And these people, let's be honest, if you're paying for a CrossFit membership, you are a high integrity person and probably quite successful in life, business, professionally. Like, CrossFit's not cheap. I don't have a lot of kids in my gym. I have a lot of adults. People that own medical practices and they're lawyers, you know what I mean? So they're successful business entrepreneurs. These people are, so it's like calling those people out for rep shaving is like insane because they're not like that in life. They just are in the gym. So then I've had people that really have no idea that they're doing it. They just cannot count to 10.
Oh, that's been me too. I have definitely, there have been times where I've just completely lost. I'm like, am I on round 3 or 4 or 5? Am I 4? Wait, where? Oh, shit. And then it's like, well, depends on how I feel in round 6. Like,
we've all had that in our monologue. All of us have had that in our monologue.
I'll do an extra one if I feel good. If I don't,
nope.
So
one thing I've done is I always tell my coaches, if you don't know, just do one less rep. If you don't know, just take the lesser rep. Don't take the high one all the time. Just don't know, take the one before. Trust me, just better that way. Better to say I think I was off.
It's also why if I ever thought I was competitive in CrossFit in any manner, it was like go to the games or go to any kind of any event where they're counting and watching you.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
I mean, I went to regionals 4 times. You know, I stopped in 2013, and it's hard to be. I'm 38 now. It's hard to get my ass kicked by these 19-year-old kids and being like, you know, you want to be competitive still, but you're really not. You just can't do it the way you used to.
The
like
body's not built that way.
My brother and I did a team competition 2 years ago when I was like 35, 36, and we went head to head with some of young guys. Like, we're going to crush these young guys and we're going to show them what's up. We got like 4th place, and it was the most painful 4th place of my life. It was never that hard.
I just watched Kelly Slater come in 4th at Pipeline. Third, I think. 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. But just watching him beat some of the best like 20-year-old kids in the world at almost 50. It was awesome. It's just so awesome.
Well,
because you're like, he made a really good point that I think you can kind of apply it to any single sport. And it is that he said he looks at surfing like martial arts.
Okay.
And the older you get, the more you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's like being wise. And you're wiser at your sport than anyone else.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry. My experience. That's my experience training the Grundler brothers, Bill and James.
Yeah.
You know, those guys are they're both 51 now, but when they were in the 45 division, they would smash the younger people all the time. Bill in the open is insane. Like, and Bill, you can never call Bill old. Whenever I coach him, never call him old man, never say he's old, because he's like, I'm not old. You know, I'm wise. He always say it. All the time.
Well, Crazy Bobby's like that.
Crazy Bobby is like, Bobby's 50 something. Is he right?
Bobby's going to be 60 soon.
Yeah. He's like almost, I mean, he's incredible.
And Bobby, I just went climbing with him, and he free soloed this wall, which is not the hardest wall in the world, but if he fell, he was dead.
Yeah.
And he was, 50, 60 feet off the ground and just climbed up that thing like no problem.
Did you ever hear of the story of Hunter taking me essentially rock climbing in Colorado and he almost killed me?
No. Did he take you up that flat iron?
Yes, that stupid freaking. That's like I hear he does it to everybody, and I'm training for the games.
Don't trust him. Don't trust him.
Oh, here's the deal. I don't like hiking. I've never been a guy that likes to hike. I don't like it. So he goes, "We're gonna go on a hike before you leave," and I'm like, "I don't want to go on a hike." And he's like, "We're gonna go on a hike. We're gonna boulder a little bit of bouldering, nothing crazy, man. Let's go. You're going." So he makes me get in the car. He drives me to the base of this thing, and I'm with him and all of his OCR guys. Kempson, all those guys that are they're very fit guys, and they're like walking, and I can't keep up.
Speaking of rep shaving,
Rep Kempson. I had to judge Kempson in the OCR Stars videos, actually, and he did quite well. All his reps were good. He did all the reps. I watched his videos. They were legit. That's a whole nother conversation to have with the OCR Stars Hunter put me through. Oh, my God. No, I love Hunter, but, man, that was rough. But so I get to the bottom of this hill. We're 2-mile walk, and I'm chasing after these OCR guys the whole time. I cannot keep up with them. Then we get to this where you're saying, and I look up. I'm like, he's like, we're going to climb up that. And then Hunter goes, oh, by the way, only a guy last year fell off, broke a bunch of ribs, but he survived. So he explained it to me. I'm like, so people have fallen. He's like, yeah, but no one's died.
He's put me in a million of those situations. He made me go behind his house. He had this waterfall during the floods.
The waterfall and the floods, yes.
And he made me go back there, and he's got all these like little ropes that he's tied in places, and he's such a child. I'm like, what's that? He's like, I'm gonna build a tree house there. And I'm like, he's like, I sit in that tree sometimes. And I'm like,
he lives his life, man.
Yeah, he's Robin Hood. So, or not Robin Hood, Peter Pan. But Bobby, I've taken Bobby to do run workouts like sprinting. Yeah. And I've lost.
You're a good runner.
I've lost it all. Yeah. But I'm still, I wouldn't think Bobby could keep up with me. No problem at all. No problem. No problem. And we were running 100s, 200s, 300s, and 400s. Totally. And I think another day we did 100s one day and 200s one day. Then another day we did ladders up to 600 and back down. and he kept with me on every single one. In fact,
Wow.
Bobby and his ego have to sprint past me at the finish line to cross the
Of course he
finish line
does.
first every time. And I've learned the lesson of trying, with people like that, if you
Yeah.
try to race them, then that's how you get hurt.
Yes, it is.
So I let him go, but he's a freak that and there is this knowledge that he has of his body, of what he is capable of and what he's not capable of. Like he knows.
When he talks about nutrition and stuff, I'm always like blown away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he does.
It's really funny because I'm doing another 30, 40, 50 with Hunter and him, I think, this week.
Okay.
And people just love Bobby's weird knowledge.
It's amazing. It's entertaining. He's invited me multiple times to the house to hang out with him, and it just never works out. I just want to be a fly on the wall of that guy's life sometimes. It's incredible.
It's he even said it to me when we were running. I was like, Bobby, I'm really impressed with. He's like, I'm impressed by you, and I was like, why? He's like, because I live this. He's like, I take care of my body all day long. That's what I do.
That's a good point.
He's like, you have a life. You've got kids and a job and other. He's like, my job is my body. And I was like, yeah, but you're still like 10 years more than, I think a little more than 10 years older. You shouldn't be keeping up with me. And he is. And I watched him wrestle Hunter, beat him.
Did he beat Hunter? Wow.
That's when he broke Hunter's nose.
Okay. Yeah.
He's but the guy is just a freak of nature, and so's Hunter. The two of them, it's funny.
They both are.
I do the show with them. I'm like, which one of these ones is not like the others?
Hunter at 50, 60 is going to be the exact same. He's going to be Bobby.
Yeah, for sure.
No difference.
With a bigger mullet.
He cut the mullet. Did you see that yesterday? He cut the mullet off.
I saw that, and the music choice was great.
My heart will go on. Is that what he chose?
Yeah, it's Celine Dion. My heart will go on as he cut his mullet off. And then he threw it out into the mountains.
Yeah, he threw it into the mountain. That guy. I'm not gonna lie. I was really happy to see the mullet go.
That mullet started to get annoying. He's in trouble right now, though. He trashed Castro on Mind Pump.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why. So I put it up on my Instagram. I asked, hey, what do you think we'll talk about today on the WodCAST podcast? And then people go, ask Hunter about his feud with Castro. And I was like, what feud with Castro?
Just after I had Castro on and we talked all about Hunter, and I thought, Hunter, you need to make peace with as many people as possible. And Castro's not the kind of guy you fuck with. It's just not his thing. Like, I'm sure.
Doesn't handle that well.
I'm sure he's fun, in his way, but he's not going to take ribbing, and
he does not,
and he's going to not forget that. And Hunter's, I'm like, why do you have to make enemies all the time?
I've been privileged enough to have Castro in my gym a couple times. He's come in and worked out, and he's also we did a Murph with Santa Monica PD versus Miami SWAT. And Castro came and did Murph with Santa Monica PD at Precision. It was really awesome. He came with Rory and a camera crew.
Was Scott McGee there?
Scott McGee was there, yeah, because Scott McGee was on Greg, my ex-partner.
Did Scott McGee win it? He had a really good Murph time.
Scott McGee did not win Murph, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember. I honestly couldn't tell you. This was 2015. I couldn't tell you who won Murph, actually.
Scott was pretty impressive at Murph and Fran.
Scott's an impressive athlete.
Yeah. Murph and Fran, though, he was he had close to a 2-minute, 2:05 Fran. And he had his Murph time. I remember he was running 5.5-minute miles.
And then, the Santa Monica, the SWAT team Santa Monica, that's their test. Or it was their test. It was 2 or 3 times a year they did it. They always did it in full getup. So
Scott's downfall was water. That's where I was always going to get him.
He wasn't a good swimmer.
I was what's that?
He was always on Dogtown's regional team back in the day, Scott. He was a good athlete.
Yeah, he's a very good athlete. Yeah. The first time he ever came into Paradiso CrossFit, where I met him, I walked in and look, we're talking 12 years ago or whatever, where I was one of the good guys there.
Is this before he went to Dogtown or after?
This is before Dogtown.
Okay.
And so that shows you the caliber of the athlete there at that time, that I was one of the, probably top 10 guys.
Okay.
And, there were a couple monsters, but not many.
Yeah.
And the owner was better. I mean, a couple guys.
David was a good CrossFitter.
Well, wait. So yeah, David was good. David was very good. And then but I walk in. We had this guy Hopper. I think his name was Hopper. Who was a regional athlete.
I remember Hopper.
But he was the guy we all just looked to. Like, this guy's phenomenal. Well, I walk in this one day, and Scott McGee is upside down in the rings doing handstand push-ups in the rings. And I just, and he's got like, those arms and, the bald head. And I'm just like, who the fuck is this? Like, who is this? And it looked like RoboCop or something. Like this, they brought a robot in. And I was like, oh, here goes CrossFit. There's guys like this that can do it. And I was like, for a while, I was like, does no one know? Like, anyone that's like, do they not know about this shit? And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, they found out.
They found out. They're learning about it. They're coming to the WordWorks.
Here they
Scott,
come.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Scott went to Linfield College and played football at Linfield.
No, he played UC
Davis?
Was it UC Davis? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Kenny Kane went to UC Davis. Scott might have gone to another UC.
I thought Scott went to Linfield College. I don't know why. I could be wrong, because I thought I played against him when I was at Occidental College, and we played against each other in college. And I remember Scott, but I could be somebody else. There's a lot of guys in that Division III football world that are in the CrossFit world now, but it's definitely been a hub for a lot of those Division III football guys to get into it, because like they're very competitive guys, but they're also like the kind of mindset of work hard, pay to play type guys, because that's what Division III football is. And I thought Scott was one of those guys that like I was that got into it.
Division III is, I always like to joke about it. It's like the steroid mecca of football, because like you'll see Division III football players that you're like, how is this guy not D1? And you're like, he's a monster. And the reason is because he can get away with murder in D3 that he couldn't get away with in D1.
I mean, I won a couple conference championships, and I don't think anybody on our team was on anything on my team, but I would say some of the teams we played, they looked like they were like the all steroid team for sure.
Well, it's weird, because like Tommy Hackenbrook told me that he doesn't think any of the guys on his team at Utah did them. He goes, if they did, they were probably guys that like didn't play.
Yeah, he's right.
He's like, because you wouldn't want to risk it. And then, I've got a lot of good friends that have been games athletes, and they all swear up and down that they've never done steroids, or it's not their thing, or whatever. And as my friends, like, you just have to believe them. You go, I don't know, I trust this guy. He's my friend. I believe him. But then you see like a Ricky Gerard or one of the girls, like I was just reading about, what's her name today? Emily
Abbott, the morning chocolate.
Emily Abbott, and she was saying, that her boyfriend could have kissed her the night before and blah, blah, blah. But
that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Nothing. None of it makes sense. And then her transformation of what she's gone through for the full year.
I respect that.
I respect that, but why did you have to go through something if you didn't do anything wrong?
Very good point.
If you didn't do anything wrong, you'd just be like, no, I'm going to fucking fight this. Fuck all of you.
The whole I got it from kissing or doing whatever to my boyfriend thing. That's like the third or fourth time I've heard that being used. And it's disgusting to me.
It's funny. I have, I think tomorrow I'm talking to Anthony Roberts.
Okay.
Who is the steroid, the steroid guru that wrote it was years ago. He wrote a blog about CrossFit, and I think it was I could be wrong. I got to go look at it.
The blog about with the points, and he mathematically figured out if they were on it or not. I read that.
I think that might be the one. And he's kind of
asked him to take it down.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And it was really interesting.
So I want to talk to him like this, not like accuse anyone or who's doing it or blah, blah, blah. I want to go, if I were going to do steroids, which I'm not,
what would I do?
What would you tell me to take? Because I know and he said, we were already on text. He's like, yeah, I know tons of guys at CrossFit that do it. There's gyms all over the place with guys fucking.
There's also the Romano podcast that I heard a long time ago. And he said like, and he wouldn't disclose, but he said like, if you're who's who, anybody in CrossFit, we've spoken. And I was like, wow, this was like 2012, I believe, 13. I was like, wow. And he was just like, and he said in his podcast that it comes a lot to diet, because the diet. So my question is, so many CrossFitters are really big on their diet. They're meticulous about everything, which is honestly, that's health. Don't get me wrong. But Romano was saying that it was all about diet. Like, yeah, you take it, but you take a specific diet to mask the drugs in a drug test. And the whole thing about the diet is it's an IQ test. Are you smart enough to understand your diet the way you should and follow exactly to a T what you're supposed to take to mask the fact that you're taking drug if you get randomly drug tested? Think about names like Armstrong and people that never actually popped positive, but they were always taking drugs.
Yeah. Well, Victor Conti, who was on Rogan's podcast, who's the guy that started Balco Laboratories.
Yep. Yeah.
He basically on Rogan said, you know, if you're getting caught, you're an idiot. It's very easy to keep your testosterone level. Like you could we could all take testosterone levels and like microdose it to a point where we'd stay under the legal level. So why wouldn't you take it to just get that little extra effort that is not legal, but you would never go over the limit. It's like going out and drinking and saying I can have a beer and I'm not going to blow positive. I'm not going to get a DUI. There's a level of testosterone that you can take and still compete.
There's a level, there's a lot more than testosterone.
Right. So I want to get into it with him. I want to know every drug, when you take, why you take.
You think he'll give you that information?
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean,
they're pretty tight about disclosing that kind of information.
I don't know. I was reading his newest blog all about, the things they've let, you know, they're always coming up with new things that aren't classified as steroids that you can do this thing. And I mean, I think that does happen. I think sometimes supplements are tainted with whatever it is that, you know, can do it.
C4 has been tainted a few times. I don't want to come out and say that, like, get C4 in trouble, but I know that there was actually a positive drug test in CrossFit with a master's athlete, and he had only taken C4, and I guess he hired his own lab to test his C4 versus another C4, and they found out that his C4 was in fact tainted with an anabolic steroid on accident.
I think masters athletes should be allowed. If you're a masters athlete, you should definitely be allowed to take testosterone.
2015 CrossFit Games, we're sitting in the soccer stadium. I'm with Bill and James, and they're doing the first entry. Welcome to the CrossFit Games, and they do the medical guy that does the medical spiel about drug testing, how they're going to get drug tested. These many people randomly, blah blah blah. Well, they go, and then afterwards, at the end, he goes, "Is there anybody that has drug, like, you know, that are prescription drugs that they want to just raise your hand and we'll take it to the back. We'll talk about it right now." And like the entire masters, and I was like, oh my God. All I'm like, what about this? That's not this. I had cancer. I was like, holy shit. And they were like, okay, we'll get to you later. Just come to the back tent. Yeah.
There has been something that I took, which is not a steroid, but it's considered. I took it, and then I found out it was a performance-enhancing drug later on, and I was like, oh, like, people can make me. I mean,
you know, diuretics are considered performance-enhancing drugs, or they're actually considered masking agents. They also look for masking. I've had a weightlifter who had a UTI, and she took a diuretic to help herself go to the bathroom before a couple weeks before a major weightlifting meet, and she tested positive for this diuretic as a masking agent. They only gave her a very small band. It was like a couple months.
I'm glad to hear that it's not this like one size fits all, that they'll hear your case and go,
no, they will.
I'm glad to hear that.
She had medical USAW, which is pretty brutal, but she had medical doctor's notes saying I had this UTI and this is what was prescribed for me for, you know, to go to the bathroom. And they're like, okay.
How about the chick that's like a gold medal winner runner that they make her take estrogen because she has too much testosterone.
Testosterone levels too high. Yeah.
That's the weird.
You can do that.
But she was born, I don't want to say this wrong because this is something
in the middle.
That, like, the community will like jump all over me. She was born, something like that. It's not like
that's not uncommon. There are athletes in the past that have been like that.
Yes.
That are born. Yeah.
So I get that. I like at first I was like, this is so wrong for them to make her blah 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 blah, and then I was like, oh, this is a more difficult decision than I thought. Like, what do you do? Like,
it's about a level playing field, but that's a whole other conversation. But
well,
women,
I mean, look,
women,
I am for equality. Women want equality. I think women eventually in most sports it could possibly catch up to men. Some sports I don't think, maybe it's not possible because of the way the woman's body's built for childbirth. But I watched fucking Tia Claire Toomey kill some men in some events, and you know, it's like, how much? Look, any one of those girls. Look, I joke about on the show, the 60-year-old women can beat me. So at some point, I think you just go, hey, we're just gonna have men and women compete with each other.
You know, it's really interesting. You look at when you and I started CrossFit, sounds like around the same time. I mean, you look at what was a strong man in 2008, 2009 in CrossFit?
2008, 2000. Oh God, we just talked about this. About Castro and I were talking about the. I mean, if you deadlifted 475 pounds, you were a monster.
You were a monster, right?
Yeah. So
like a strong man in CrossFit that wanted to go to regionals 2008, 2009, could snatch 225, clean and jerk 275, maybe 245 to 275. That was about the numbers they had, right?
Yep.
That's a woman now. That's a strong CrossFit female athlete.
Yeah.
And so then I was really happy to see Castro change the programming at the games this year. He's starting to take 80% of the male weight now for the women. So for example, like a 95-65 was the like Fran weight, right? We all know that number. Well, now it'd be 95-75.
Interesting. I didn't know that he went to 80%.
Yeah, he's been taking 80%. And it makes tons of sense because these women sometimes, like on Fran, they'll smoke the guys just because the weight is so much lighter. Because they're clean, their front squat is 325 pounds, which is the strength that a guy had in 2010 for a front squat. You know, so like the weight is such a percentage lower for them based on their max versus the men based on their maxes that they definitely have had to make a change.
Now what's the reason behind, like if you go size, the top male CrossFitters are what, like 5'8"?
Yeah, about 5'8", 5'9". Yeah.
And so the women, some of the women are why are women still using the small bar? The 35-pound bar.
If that's hand size.
Right, but I'm saying if a woman's 5'6", 5'7",
you're correct, but what extremity size is different than height. So like my hands at your hands at 5'7", 5'8" versus your wife's hands at 5'7", 5'8", she's gonna have smaller hands.
Really?
That's the point. That's the same with the WNBA. They use a smaller basketball than a men's basketball. They have smaller hands.
I love the dunking contest in the WNBA. I watch
that is pretty awesome. It's still, I don't care if it's just a straight up single arm dunk. It's still badass to see a woman dunk a ball in a 10-foot hoop versus a guy. It's badass.
Two friends of mine, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, were having two comedians, and we're having like a dunk contest on like a 9-foot hoop recently. Okay. And Tom, which I don't believe he could dunk on a 9-foot hoop, but I was telling Bert last night, I'm like, I don't believe it. And he's like, no, he did it. I go, how come there's no footage of that? But they have footage of his accident.
Yeah.
He slipped and fell going up for a dunk, and he slipped backwards, and his arm went behind him. He broke his arm, and he did everything you can do to your knee, like patella, MCL, ACL, everything, just gone. Yeah. So, poor Tom. But Bert, Bert was, I was like, why can't I watch videos of you guys dunking on a 9-foot hoop? He's like, we kept raising it. I'm like, okay, I believe maybe you guys dunked on an 8-foot hoop. Maybe.
I don't think I could dunk on a 9-foot hoop anymore.
I don't think I could either. I used to be able to dunk on a 10-foot hoop, and very easy with tennis ball or volleyball.
The tennis ball, back when I was a kid. Yeah.
Basketball, it would have to be the greatest day of the year. And I have done it, but 9-foot hoop, I was a star. But I don't think I could I don't
think I could anymore. I don't think I can get up. No. I used to. I ruptured my Achilles, and I couldn't really jump high enough to begin with. But now I can't jump at all.
I had a pretty good leap. I used to love to like jump up and grab the rim and hold on.
Oh yeah. And I could do that in high school, college.
Yeah. And that's like, I'm 5'10", and people are like, wow, this guy's got some leaps, and now it's like, if I did, I'd be like, this is going to hurt. Mm-hmm. Having to jump this high and then come landing. Yeah.
I'm an avid skier. My dad taught me to ski since I was 3 years old. And my dad goes, yeah, you want to go on jumps? I'm like, hell no. I don't want to land after I jump. It hurts So bad.
If you hit the flat, I went skiing recently with a buddy
Okay.
who's a pro skier, and we were in Sun Valley, and he took me down this what's called skier cross, and
Okay.
it's like motocross but downhill. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
grew up skiing my whole life and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got this, no problem. But what I didn't realize, it's just like a motocross track. You have to like time your jumps because you have to
Yeah.
land on the backside of everything.
Yeah.
And so the only way to do that is you can't check your speed. You have to full speed everything.
Mhm.
And I checked my speed on the first jump just because I was flying,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to like hit this track, which they do. They go as fast as they can, top to bottom. And I was like, I want to slow it down a little. And then I hit the first tabletop on the top,
Oh,
and it was just like,
it's like
oh, brutal. 'Cause
Yeah.
like
it's jolting.
there's no like rubber in your shoes. You're on like
Yeah.
plastic, on aluminum, on carbon fiber,
Yes.
whatever it is, that's then hitting like hard packed snow. And then I realized I'm going to die. So I have to go full speed.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, what the fuck?
The whole time though, I've done that recently in the last year. The whole time you're thinking, just don't eat shit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't eat
Or
shit.
I'll die. I
Bend
was
your
like,
knee. I'm gonna die. Yeah. And then like checking your helmet, is it tight? Is it tight?
Yeah. Yeah. I mountain biked down the Backbone Trail like that one day where I was just like, I am not good enough to go at this full speed, but
Yeah.
it was like getting dark and I thought I was going to get eaten by coyotes and mountain lions. And I just leaned back and just went. And I was like, adrenaline made me mountain bike better than I ever have. And then I like made it down, and I was like, that was out of pure fear. And I went out and got a Troy Lee Designs full faced helmet the next day.
Okay, so you're ready to go. So you're ready to hit it now.
I
You're
was
ready
like,
to go.
I
full speed.
do not want my face coming off.
Well, I'm more afraid of like, like the Matt Chan, like the breaking of the femur,
Oh.
the knees, like I've seen some, there's a guy that died, a couple weeks ago, and was it the background trail? There's a trail in Agora, a guy.
Oh,
ate it
yeah. I saw that.
And died, had to get airlifted out, but he passed away on impact, like fell off. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I do not want to be that guy.
Yeah. I've had, James Newberry mountain biking had
James
his
Newberry,
lung,
that's
had
right.
his lung deflate. Broke 3 vertebrae. People don't understand. Scott, who used to be on the show, always told me, he's like, he was always more scared of bicycling than motorcycles.
Yeah.
He's like, motorcycles, everybody talks about how dangerous they are. He's like, if you're going through an intersection and a car's coming at you, you can gun the throttle and get out of it.
Yeah.
If you're on a bicycle, bam.
You're done.
And so he's like, I see a lot of bicycle accidents. And
Yeah.
when I'm coming down like a mountain on a mountain bike, I'm like, I'm going as fast as a motorcycle right now. Like,
There are.
yeah, like if I crash right now, I'm fucked. Like fucked. It's
You are though.
yeah.
I mean, my dad's trying to get me he bought a bike for himself and he's too old for it. It's like a brand new mountain bike. I'll give it to you for $1,000. Because I raced mountain bikes as a kid. And he goes, you want to get back into mountain biking? And I have a group of members that go, and I can go, and I have not gone yet.
You're crazy. We've got the best trails
I know.
back here though.
I'm also don't want to end up in the hospital.
Yeah, well, there's a way to do it. I went over the bars probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years that I was just like, okay, no more. Like, if I see a rock in front of me that I can't get over, I don't. There's no.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, I downhills. I don't take any chances anymore. Just
I used to, but the thing is, I don't know if I could. I can't ski slow. I was that is my best sport. I was taught how to ski since I was 3, and my dad's an incredible skier. That's what I do. I don't do that slow. Mountain biking, I know when I do it again, I'll want to go fast. I don't do it fast. I just know me.
Yeah.
I know how I do. I think I would kill myself.
I just keep people like James Newberry in my head. I think about him. I think about my other buddy. A lot of really bad mountain biking accidents.
I've seen tons of them.
Yeah.
I've seen my own members walk in with like my head coach Jose, mountain bikes all the time. He walked in the other day with a fucked up knee, and I'm like, "What happened to your knee?" He's like, "I fell." I have members come with broken wrists. What happened? I fell mountain biking. It's always mountain biking or some stupid like softball game they played. They never get hurt in the gym. They get hurt outside the gym.
I always say CrossFit's my place to try to make sure I don't get hurt out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Did I ever tell you what Black Glassman said to me in 2014? I'm sitting at regionals. I have a ruptured Achilles. I'm in a boot. He walks up and he goes, "What happened to your leg?" I'm like, "I ruptured my Achilles." He's like, "Jumping on a box?" I go, "No, I was playing flag football." He goes, "How old are you?" I'm like, 30. He goes, "Don't you know the saying about CrossFit?" I'm like, "Which one?" He's like, "The play new sports one." I'm like, "Yeah, do CrossFit, learn new sports." He goes, "Yeah, until you're 30. And then he walked away.
until you're 30.
Until you're 30.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to interview him so badly. So
He's
badly.
pretty much radio silent now, isn't he? I have heard
I'm
nothing.
sure he's probably got a no compete clause and an NDA that is like 20 pages long that won't let him do anything. But
That makes sense.
I would love to hear not about what he thinks of like CrossFit and everything, that just like a little bit of his philosophy on life and what his future entails.
Yeah, I think he's just going to ride off into the sunset. To be honest, I think he got a very decent a very good payout for the company. I think he's just going to
rumor around. What do you think?
My rumor that I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, was $100 million sale.
I've heard double that.
You've heard? I've heard double that. Yeah. I just can't believe.
I can. I think it would be, yeah.
Well, reportedly before he put his foot in his mouth, CrossFit was $100 million a year company in profit or made. So reportedly, we know with the affiliate, and let's be realistic. I've said this 1,000 times. He made money by creating the sanctional system. It wasn't good for us as affiliates or for the athletes, but the sanctional system, he essentially made the affiliates pay him again to have a competition. So we paid him for our affiliate, and then we paid him to compete.
All right.
It was actually a really smart business play.
Rosa should have waited like another 6 months, and he could have gotten CrossFit for like half the price.
I know he should have waited, but the thing is, then the value was going to be too low.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping the value doesn't go low. Like this, we survived this, and CrossFit, like you guys all. I mean, I'm so glad to see you're doing well.
Yeah.
I wish. I think also, if you can you put it out there to gyms like to get a hold of you to figure out what you're doing and
I think this is a good forum to put that out there.
Right.
If they want to get hold of me, they know where to reach me.
Right.
At Precision, they can reach me on Instagram, but like I'm willing to help other gyms do it.
I also like the idea that you're outside. Now, I would rather work out outside all the time.
It was honestly, I should have done it years ago.
Right.
Honestly, I should have done this years ago, but I didn't have the means because I didn't have the finances. One thing I did in 2018 when I bought my partner out was I said, I'm not going to pay myself for a year. I'm just going to put all the money I make in Precision back into the gym and build up reserves. And I focused on building the reserves and client retention and my members being happy. And I did that in 2018. So and then I didn't know we were having a pandemic. I just wanted to have a lot of money in the account. and I lived from 100% off my programming company. That's all I did. And so that allowed me to have a good sizable reserve to build an outdoor area.
Right.
I wish I had done it sooner, but at the same time, the timing was there. It worked out really well. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going to have a lot of classes out there because it's a beautiful space, and Agora is beautiful in the summer.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Mountains.
If I had my choice between an indoor gym and an outdoor gym, living in California, I'd go to the outdoor gym any day of the week. I mean, granted, it might be too hot every once in a while, but
we're going to definitely put as many classes outdoor as possible. We're within reason with space. Like we're going to keep it outside as much as we can because it's just awesome to be outside.
What do you do cleaning wise?
So I have a cleaning crew that comes twice a week that deep cleans my gym everywhere, including the rig. But we also have, the towels and the spray bottles at every single station for people to spray and sanitize things. One thing I will say though is, and we also have a gun. The gun you were actually advertising. Yeah. We have that. I had that for years. We have always used that at the end of every class.
Purify is who does that. Yeah, they're great.
Awesome. I'm actually invested in a steam disinfectant cleaner. They're pretty expensive, but through Mobile Gym Tech, they're the ones who created my outdoor area. And they got a bunch of these mobile steamers. So they're steam disinfectants and they won't hurt the equipment. One of the things I've said that the cleaners has done is it's destroyed equipment. It's degreased the bars. It has destroyed the rubber on the bumper plates. It has taken up a layer of rubber on the floor, the cleaning solution that we use, and it has destroyed our rowers. Luckily I had a bunch of PM3 rowers, monitors, and now my gym has about a bunch of PM5s. I had to upgrade all my monitors because they all haywire from people spraying the monitor down and wiping. So we've had to recreate our cleaning protocols multiple times. I've also every month I probably buy another set of bands because the cleaner just destroys the rubber bands. Like it just eats the rubber away. So what's really been tough is we have to keep our equipment as it was. I was ready to replace all my high temp equipment because we're going to year 9. It's been a long time coming. And I was going to sell it and to get all new high temp, and there's no equipment. So now we have to be really, really strategic with how we take care of our equipment and how we
just because it's all been bought up. Like it's hard to.
If you go on Rogue, it's notify me for everything. You cannot get a bumper plate.
That's crazy.
It's like a 7-week. If I want a new rower for CrossFit 2, it's a 7 to 10 week waiting period.
Wow.
So it's like, Assault's actually been doing a great job. You can get assault bikes and assault runners and in true forms right now. They're in abundance, but you cannot find a pair of bumper plates.
Wow.
So dumbbells, they're just gone. So
I know I've been trying to get dumbbells for my house and it's impossible.
It's impossible.
And I've fought with some guys online that are jacking up the prices on them. And I'm like, you're a dick. My
buddy bought a set of 25-pound plates the other day for $200. $200 for a set of 25s. That's an absurd rate. So I'm like, I'm waiting for next year. Hopefully I can sell my gear. I probably should still be able to sell it for a decent penny because it'll still be worth something with everything that's in, and then buy all new stuff.
You'd think there would have been a lot of used stuff for sale with all the CrossFits that went out of business.
What happened was they sold it to the members as soon as they went out of business.
Wow.
So they would do a fire sale to their members before it ever got to the affiliate owners. And then there'd be scraps when you went to go look. So that's what they did, I know Waxman's gyms unfortunately shut their doors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This year. Yeah, it sucks. But
I
guess they're going to reopen it in Utah. Sean's moving to Utah, but he did a auction of his stuff. And then they all picked it up like before the first of the year.
He probably got some good prices on stuff then.
Probably got some good prices for that. Yeah. I don't know what he got, but he probably got some good stuff. But a lot of the gyms I know that closed down, when I found out as an affiliate, a good friend of mine on CrossFit Simi Valley, I did the programming for a long time, great gym, great people, but they decided to close up shop. And I called him. I said, hey man, what do you got? And he goes, dude, it was gone in 24 hours. The mats were gone. Everything was my gym. I didn't have to do anything. I just said, here you go, take it, charge it. And literally within 24 hours, the gym was empty. And I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do anything to close it.
Wow.
I was like, wow. So.
Well, I'm actually talking to some producers right now about a TV show. And I'm looking for CrossFit coaches who are carpenters, who are like TV guys. So they've got to be like Bobby would be one of the guys because Bobby has carpentry skills. Bobby has, Bobby has knowledge, and also he can handle, he's good.
Sean Waxman built all of his own stuff, right? His own squat racks.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's a really good with his hands.
That's hilarious.
He's a good guy for you to consider.
Well, I'm glad to see you're open. I'm glad to see you're being successful. I'm glad to see Hunter hasn't killed you. And
he shows up.
I know
the OCR Stars thing was good experience. I've never done an online event in my life for him, but it was an interesting world. I never got into the OCR world.
Fuck his OCR Stars. He made me wake up at 6 a.m. to go commentate his
the mile,
the 10K run.
The 10K.
I sit in his Jeep and drive as he runs, but he's in the lead the whole time. So all these guys behind him, and all I did was make fun of everybody
I watched it.
I have no, but they took my recording out because they were worried that I would offend the sponsors because of the things I was saying. So I might release.
You should.
Just the audio. It's 30 minutes of me nonstop talking about Hunter's stupid ponytail, and he was really nippy that day. I kept going. We've got Hunter McIntyre in second place, and his nipples are in first. And just that's how I was commentating the whole time. And I'm like, now there's some guy behind him in a ponytail, or some guy behind him with a headband on. He looks like the Karate Kid, but he's He also looks like he hasn't lifted weights a day in his life. And I'm just like ripping on everybody. Hunter's like, you can't do that.
I did watch the video, and the stuff you did say was making me laugh but then they did put in there. I was like, I want to know I want to just go back to Eddie.
They cut everything. They cut everything. So I might release it.
You should.
So, hey, if people want to get a hold of you and a question about like what you've done and how you can do it successfully, how should they get a hold of you?
They can email me, mtromello@gmail.com. They can go on precisioncrossfit.net and go on my website. They can find me on Instagram at mtromello. Pretty simple. Just Google Michael Tromello. Stuff will come up.
I appreciate you being on the show today. And
thank you.
And congratulations on being open.
Thanks.
I'm supposed to be in Minneapolis next week. I don't know if I'm fucking going.
Really? I wish I could go somewhere. I don't know if you knew this, but I travel an average of 2.5 times a month. Now you travel more, but I was traveling an average 2.5 times a month in 2019 for coaching CrossFit and weightlifting. And this year in January, I traveled to U.S. Youth Nationals with one of my athletes, and I've been home the whole year.
Yeah, I've been since March. I've been on one airplane. Like back. That's it.
It's insane.
It is.
But
insane.
I will say this: it's been really, really nice to be home.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. Yeah,
it really has been. So, and it let me focus on Precision's growth and success and getting him through this pandemic. And we're not done yet, but I'm confident that we're gonna pull through it very, very strong.
I have to come over and work out sometime because
yes, you do.
I mean, I have my gym here at home, but I've also gotten when I was in North Carolina, I was only doing body weight stuff for like 3 weeks, and I was losing my mind with like running, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and lunges. I was like, is there anything else I can do? I had no pull-up bar. I had nothing.
If you're down to work out outside, socially distanced in a gym outside, man, you always got a spot.
Well, I will definitely stop down. Mike, thanks for doing the show. Hey, stay on. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody else. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. Check us out. You know where. And go to our Instagram. But go to YouTube and watch this show, and you can see the picture of the guy who told me he was going to fuck my mother. And that's it. Rate, review, comment, or tell your friends about the show. That's the best way. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your friends.